No edits, no filter. February 28th, take one.
You guys look like you're about to sing the Baby Shark song.
Let's not go there.
No way.
My wife does that in the car when I have nowhere to go. And it's like singing 99 bottles of beer on the wall. I can't, that just drives me nuts.
Oh, that's
man.
I finished that
torture.
song once.
It is, how long does it take? What,
A really long
35,
time, I don't
45 minutes until people want to throw you out the window, right?
You usually don't get to 10 beers a
The
bottle.
key is to actually do it while drinking.
Oh my gosh, and then you pass out. What bottle
my
you guys
God.
out there?
Hey, before we get off topic, what's the topic, Tom?
We're way off topic already. Do you guys want
You
to?
can't be off something that isn't here yet.
Yeah, yeah, what?
I was just gonna add on real quick. I had a friend once who we were on a field trip, and somebody had like spoken to him rudely, and so instead of like getting mad and stuff, he decided to rope me into, in conversation form, doing 99 bottles of beer on the wall,
Like
like a conversation. So it was like, I have like 99 bottles of beer on the wall, and then I would be like, 99 bottles of beer.
No.
And then we did that for the whole
the
song.
whole song? Oh my God.
Oh, no.
Are you guys still friends?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
God, you smacked him right in the
I'm
head.
over here.
Oh, I love it. What up over there, Shanae? You look like Ray Charles over there. Is what you look like.
Or trying to be like one of the men in black without the suit.
I got
Oh!
way across town. She be good to me. That's what you look like, Ray Charles over there. I like it.
Big fat, yeah.
Shanae Charles. I like it. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody.
So here's the topic for today.
Wait, before that,
Yep.
Big John, why do we gather on Fridays?
We talk about stuff. We talk about autism, sports, movies, etc.
Etc. That's I like that.
That's
It's
a great summation of no edits, no filter.
That is a great summation.
Now
of
back to
the-
Tom on
What the
today's
real topic
topic is.
So yesterday, guys, I wasn't here. I was at a conference. I was at where?
No,
Where was I yesterday, John? You know where I was?
no.
Okay, I was at a conference downtown. I had a tie on.
I'm sorry.
I know. I had a sport coat and tie on, darling. I was down there with all of the guys in suits.
Oh
And it was
God,
a
I
deal-
cannot imagine you in the tie.
Oh, dude, it was.
I've only worn a tie. I've only worn a tie only once in my life. The day of my high school graduation.
And that was it.
That was it.
Oh.
I envy you.
Was it a clip-on or did you have to actually tie it?
I don't remember.
Don't remember. Okay. Well, I had to wear a tie. Mine was not a clip-on. My son helped me tie it. No, I'm kidding. I had a suit and tie on yesterday, and we went down to what's called a deal makers conference. And there was all these guys that buy and sell companies down there, and I was trying to get in there and learn some stuff about how to run a company and what to do, and really kind of rub some elbows and run into some people. And I ran into some great guys. I got to meet Colin Reed, the CEO of Gaylord. Really, really impressive man. He did a speech yesterday on what's going on at Gaylord and the Ryman Entertainment Group, and they just opened the Old Red brand with Blake Shelton, and he talked about the growth of the Gaylord Opryland Hotel and the addition of sound waves out there, that new water park and all that stuff. And all anybody could whisper was, it smells like a pool in the whole
smells
hotel
like
now. And yet, and John Ingram was down there talking about Nashville Soccer Club and Ingram Industries and how they grew that. And there was some.
Hey, look.
There you go.
He got the
John, they're
scarf on.
representing. They're representing right here. We got the old and the new. And are you
Well,
in?
and the
And the old and
He
the
got a
new.
T-shirt.
It's all in, and Saturday night's that, and he was talking about that. But there were a lot of business guys down there, bankers and investment guys and entrepreneurs like myself, and just people that were down there doing things, right? And so I went down there, and I felt like the old Sesame Street thing. Which one of these is not like the other? Here are all these high hitters. And I
okay,
was
self shots fired.
yeah, boom. I was the one guy that was there that shouldn't have been there. But it was really amazing. And the one big topic that kept coming up the entire day, which made me feel like the old guy in the room, was technology. And I want to talk a little bit about that today. So the subject today, in a big general sense, and I'm going to bring that down, is technology and how it has changed our everyday lives and how it's really changed business. And they talked about things like there was a company that has a parking company, a valet company that valets cars when you go to the hotels or whatever. Well, that industry's dying because of what?
Technology.
Technology.
Technology, Uber,
Exactly.
facial recognition, AI.
All of that, but
Deep
four
fakes.
letters. Uber. Well, one word. Uber. And it's
Skynet.
yeah. It's
Now he's thinking the Terminator.
well, but the point is technology disrupts things that totally changes the way the world works. Think about Kodak went out of business because you don't need film anymore.
No, you don't.
It's all digital.
All digital.
You have certain things. Uber's a perfect example. Taxis are starting to become a thing of the past. People aren't buying cars as much as they used to because they Uber around big cities. Some people in Chicago and New York just don't even buy a car. So I want to know.
It's starting here in Nashville now too.
It really is, isn't it? I mean, you Uber a whole lot. A lot of you guys do, I
Yeah.
think, that don't drive.
I know Matt does when Brad isn't here.
Yeah. So we're going to Uber I'm going to Uber to the game on Saturday.
I'm
night.
going with this guy.
So the point of that is I really want to know how. And I, as a guy, sat there and thought, "Oh my goodness, I didn't listen enough in technology class." And you guys know how kind of not versed I am in that. Yeah. How has technology really changed our lives? You don't need to chime in so easily. How has technology changed our lives, and how do we see it starting to really change our lives in a way that we thought might have been positive, or that could be negative? We've talked in here about social media is a good thing because it gives you an ability to connect with people, but it also can be a bad thing because it keeps you from going and really seeing folks. So let's talk a little bit about, Alex, you want to kick us off with something?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of related to, I guess, business.
Okay.
It was something I was just thinking about last weekend, is how digital money has become.
Okay. There you go.
And I think it makes it way too easy to spend.
Agreed.
But
keep talking about this. This is great because I would agree with you.
So, I'm too young to know the exact, time period that became mainstream. But I'd say 40 years ago, you paid for things with cash most of the time,
So you're saying 40 years ago? I would say
I don't know.
I would say more like 5 years ago. And,
Sure.
and we've had credit cards and debit cards and things like that, but things like Venmo and
Cash
Bitcoin. I know you're into it, Dieter.
Well,
PayPal,
Dieter mine.
all that kind of stuff.
So the graphics cards that are in my computer
Yes.
were mining.
Hold on.
He used. How many you had? I want to say 4 RX 580s that you used. He mined the Bitcoin or Ethereum.
Some other thing.
But he used them for mining.
Let's stay in money right now there, Shanae.
And he can tell you all about it.
Let's stay in the cash area real quick because I think it's really important, and you said something that's really interesting. When there's not a lot of value placed on money, when you've got a wad of bills in your pocket and you got to peel one off and give it to somebody and it's gone, that's a different thing than hitting a button, right? And then all of a sudden your wallet's empty of money. It's empty of money. You can just keep hitting something until that gets you into credit, and now you owe a bunch of money. And I think Amazon's done that. Prime, pay me $100 and I'll drop it on your doorstep in 2. Whoop, I can order that like that. Whoop, I'm going to order that like that. I think you're exactly right, and I think the days of of really saving and feeling and understanding what money is, it's a tough thing. I know my son, I'm a 10-year-old, we all know that.
It's been proven in the field of behavioral economics that
Give it up.
if you physically account your money, like for certain things, you spend less, and also people and credit cards and debit cards, you just spend more money that way.
I use cash a lot, so I don't even have a bank. I mean, I used to have a bank account, but I don't anymore.
Right.
But I pay everything if I'm going out to eat, or if I'm if I'm paying. I usually pay my stuff in cash.
Yeah, Dave Ramsey has the envelope method where you put cash in an envelope, and when your grocery money's gone, you don't go get any more groceries.
Exactly.
And when your rent money's gone, you don't have a place to pay. And I think we have to start to understand that. We've talked about independent living and how to do all those things. I think those are things we have to really get our handle on. My 10-year-old sees me hand a plastic card to somebody, and he thinks that's how we get money. That's how we get things. You hand them a plastic card, and they give you something. And it doesn't work that way. He doesn't understand. So what we started doing is taking him to the bank to show him where we do put the money in, how that works, and that if I give him $5, then they're going to give me that back. If I need $7, it doesn't work. You say something. You've been talking.
That's the reason our checks go to the bank, because that's just in case we need it really bad.
That's right. And if you put it in your pocket, you'll go out and spend it, and it's gone.
Yeah.
the bank keeps it safe,
Yeah.
and they're federally insured in
Like
order to give that back to
If,
you.
if somebody robs the bank, then our money can be replaced.
That's right, John.
People don't rob the bank much anymore. They used to.
And if they do, then it's FDIC.
Yeah.
The federal deposits are insured. That's right. So
Yeah.
it's federally insured. You're exactly right. And if they steal out of your wallet on the street,
Yeah.
you're out of luck.
Yeah.
Right? It's done, and you can't replace that.
There's a lot of poor people wanting money.
Or
There are a lot of poor people wanting money, and maybe the lack of understanding of
Yeah.
how the economy works and how money does work, that we
Yeah.
have to go work for that, earn it, and put that in our bank account
Yeah.
to keep safe. We've lost that concept.
in
Yeah.
that conference you went to, did they ever talk about drone deliveries and how they're?
Of course you went there.
A little bit. I mean,
Of course, I went there. Well, it's
Well,
the
wait.
future, man.
We talked about disruptive behavior and technology, and that's one of them. That's exactly right. If you look at why are retail stores going out of business? Because we're bringing the products to ourselves at our home or at our business. So I think you're exactly right. Drone delivery can be another technology that is disruptive. But in the money field, I think Alex, you hit something really cool. It devalues it.
I was going to say, let's say you ordered. I'm gonna say you ordered a chair, and let's say they put this chair on a drone.
Okay?
But what happens if somebody with a shotgun shoots the drone down?
The delivery company is responsible for that because
Do
it
we
hasn't
start
reached the
adding
consumer.
anti-drone defenses to our delivery drones
Probably. In some way, shape, or form, probably.
so they can't be shot
I
down?
think a good example of technology is calculators.
Oh,
Nobody
interesting.
needs to know math, really.
That's true.
You just grab a calculator. If you know how to push buttons.
Yeah.
He does
If you
it
have the
for you.
basic concept of plus and minus,
That's right.
but to just do it in your head or do it on paper.
What do you think
that's
of
a
people
lost art.
collecting our data?
Hold on, let him finish. And I want to heels of that. I think even more than that, it's learning. We used to have to learn 1492 Columbus sailed the ocean blue. We needed to learn facts and figures. We don't need them anymore because we can Google them.
Yeah.
And so I had a conversation with Dr. Lowry, the president of Lipscomb, one time that we sat at dinner and talked about that. And he said, what people learn in higher education now will change. We have to learn critical thinking, how to think on, and this was talked about greatly yesterday. Companies are looking to hire people that are critical thinkers, on their feet, how to solve problems and solve issues, not so much people that are specialized in one thing, because a lot of that can be done by computers, by drones, by technology, and it's replacing that.
Yeah.
So the critical thinker that thinks how to use that machine better is what we're looking for. It was a really interesting topic yesterday.
I would still say that those fields like learning math aren't useless because anyone who knows how to do math without a calculator knows how to use a calculator better than the person who doesn't.
I'm not arguing that point, but I'm saying in general, the average person doesn't need. They just can pull up a calculator and do
Right. Like
the formula.
when I was growing up, they always told us we had to memorize the times tables because we would not have a calculator on us.
Right.
Now we do.
Right.
So
But I think you're right. There will be degrees of who can use a calculator better and what we're trying to accomplish with that calculation too. I mean,
Well,
I
if you
think
don't know
that's-
how to do it without the calculator, you don't know how to do it with the calculator.
Well, you may not know why you're doing it or the reasons or the just to
But
sit
if
down
you know
and
the
critically
times
think.
button, then you can go 3 times
Yeah.
47.
You don't have to.
and you get the answer.
Yeah, you don't have to know how every timetable works. You just have to know the general idea still.
Right.
But
Yeah.
still, the knowledge is important.
I'm not arguing that. At all.
Technology will have an economical impact because when people were hand building cars and manufacturing, that's starting to change where some of them are losing their jobs because it's, automation,
You're
autonomy.
Absolutely, the number one thing they talked about yesterday was the loss of physical jobs and the impact of over 600 million people around the world going to lose their jobs over the next 30 years.
I told you, this is
because
why
of
we should be
technology.
scared.
And they won't lose their job and be unemployed. They'll change the way that they do their job and what they do. And so it's job replacement is what that is. And
Yeah,
they're talking about
yeah.
that.
30 years from now, you probably won't even work anymore, and they don't want to work anymore, and all that.
30 years from now, I'm just praying I'm here, man.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, this place.
Again, self-shots
Yeah,
fired.
this place will still be open 30 years.
I hope so. I really
Knock
do.
on wood.
Because, thank you, knock on wood.
Yeah.
Because my hope,
Knock
John,
on
one of
wood.
the reasons we exist is that we want to employ people.
Yeah.
I think it's really important to have a job, have a place to get up and go to every morning, to have a purpose, and to be able to draw a paycheck. And where Amazon is trying to do what Matt's talking about, get rid of people and get it there as fast as you can, I really want to employ as many people as we can, doing a little bit better job.
Eventually this place will grow.
It's grown since we opened it.
Yeah.
And we're as we see, we're back to the gills right now, and it's time to expand that.
Yeah.
So to Dieter's point, I think to either Dieter or Scott's point, we don't even need a calculator anymore because we can go. What's 3 times 47?
That is a calculator.
You're just
It's
having
an internal, but it's a different form of calculator. You're right.
Yeah.
Digital technology was able to take your voice recognition and just tell you the answer to the question you had. It's amazing.
That's an interface. It's doing
True.
a calculator. You're just interfacing
Yeah.
with the calculator.
And you get a really cute.
Or you
lady's
can use a
voice
calculator that's on your cell phone.
and You can. That's
Also,
exactly right.
with the automation thing and people being shifted into different careers, like into the service industry, a lot of people may not adjust very well to that.
Explain.
Well, people are not as homogeneous as we think we act like they are in basic economic models. Because, people are different. Some people might be good working with people. Some people may not be good working with people. The guy who works 30 years in an auto factory may not be very good as a cashier at Walmart or.
So taking a traditional job that he's had, where he's sort of been in a manufacturing role, and now you got to put him in a people-pleasing role, that he's not ready to do that. Vice versa, you might take somebody who really needs to have people and put them in a role over here where he's sitting by himself doing something he might not adjust. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Adaptability is a skill in and of itself.
Adaptability is a skill. I would agree with you 100%. I mean, I can remember the day my family had their first television.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. I can literally, and I know I'm an old guy, but I'm really not that old. And I can remember when that first television then became a color television. And I can remember the first day that television became a big screen that would have filled up this room, and was that deep,
One time everybody used to watch the same thing because we had like 4 or 5 different stations and all of that.
That's exactly right, John. And it would turn off at 11 o'clock at night and go squiggly, and there wasn't anything else to watch. And now you've got literally endless supply of more content than you could ever watch in a lifetime. And I want to say something to what you just said.
It's hard to find something good to watch.
And it is hard to find something good to watch.
Well,
When you were saying, John, think about it. When there was a show on, we'll say an old show like Mannix or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know who that is. That's an old cop show.
Oh yeah.
But everybody would go to work the next day and go, "Did you see Mannix last night? Yeah, it was awesome. He was this and that," because that was really the only show. And you had one show that was always above them on the other network, and they were trying to.
They came out with westerns for us.
Westerns?
Yeah.
You love westerns.
The only western show I like is Minions. I don't like the. Yeah, everything else is not.
Gunsmoke was awesome.
Huh?
I liked Gunsmoke.
You do?
But you're a Bonanza guy.
Yeah.
So let me say this, but that was unifying in a weird way. Think about it. If we came to work the next day, we all could talk about the same show we saw last night.
And if you missed it, you missed it.
And if you missed it, you missed it. You didn't have a VCR or VHS to record it, and you missed it. So everybody had to explain about it. But we had a common subject, and there was something beautiful about that. Now, if I were to ask everybody in this group what they watched last night on TV, it would be all over the map.
Yeah.
I streamed this. I watched that. I'm binging this. I'm doing that. I didn't watch. Some guys don't have cable, and they watch it through Hulu or through their computers I mean, it's unbelievable, right? And so the amount of content, thusly, in a weird way, isolating us, separating us into little bitty groups as opposed to the mass can come together at what we used to call the water cooler, where everybody talked about the same thing from the night before. And now, a show that I may love and know more about in the world, y'all may never have heard of. And that just is amazing to me. Yes, sir.
Drawing from the water cooler analogy,
Yeah.
wouldn't you technically say this is a water cooler conversation?
I think so. Yeah, I would agree. But it's not. Again, we're throwing out a big subject and talking about that, and everybody has a little different window as opposed to, oh yeah, I love that scene when, where I did this and I saw that and this is what I thought of it. But yeah, this is a good water cooler kind of a approach.
You know,
I agree with that, Riley.
You know, they could be something good on 3 different stations, but you can't always. Yeah, you can't. If you like this show, sometimes it's better with this show. Sometimes the shows give other shows. Sometimes some shows give other shows. They have to cancel because this show's giving this other show run for its money.
I remember NBC on Thursday nights had NBC Comedy Thursday nights, and we did the jingle for it. It was, and you tuned in, and it was what was it, Friends and Cheers, and it had this just 4 shows in a row that kicked butt. And ABC and CBS didn't have a prayer on Thursday nights. I mean, it was NBC's night. Technology. We've talked about television. Let's keep going. What are some other things we've talked about? Uber. We've talked about delivery.
Space travel.
Space travel. That's the
Well, it's
technology.
changing sports. You have esports now.
You have esports. That's how many guys were video gamers? Yeah, how many guys were playing? Exactly, my son. Right, he's home playing FIFA all the time. Or.
But I don't
not
let
at
the games
school.
control me because I go work out, I go hang out.
But
Well,
but
the esports people are in good shape too because you have
Yeah.
to be in good shape to have good reactions. Like these people are
Yeah.
not just big fat guys.
But
in
blue
front of
light
the
kills
computer.
your eyes, and you can't not deny that fact.
There's blue light filters.
So try to get
Standard
that
school
past
in
that
my life,
one.
My eyes are better than
Blue
most
light
people who
filter.
haven't.
But you're right in that I think there
Kills
are now
brain cells.
scholarships at universities that you can go get to play esports.
Yeah, Auburn and
Blows-
Alabama play League of Legends now together.
It blows me away. It's unbelievable. I'm going to go get a
Serious?
scholarship
Yeah,
in
if they
esports.
play League of Legends, it must be official.
It is.
Can I talk about space travel?
Yes. Tell me how here if as long as
I don't
you
want
do this.
Dieter's going to say we didn't go to the moon. We didn't.
As long
I think we did.
As long as you compare space travel to what it used to be to what technology has helped it become, or has space travel helped us with technology?
Exactly.
Stay on the subject.
So I guess 50 years ago, space travel, we were just putting payloads on basically ballistic missiles and just hope that it would reach orbit. And because back then we didn't have like GPS, we didn't have any way to know if it's on the right trajectory, if it's going this amount of kilometers per hour, it was at this altitude. And we didn't know meters per second. We knew how much like rocket fuel we would need because that's calculated by this term called delta V, which essentially calculates, well, I need this much delta V to reach the atmosphere, and then to achieve orbit, I might make this rocket a second 2-stage or 3-stage.
So how has technology changed?
Well, technology has helped in making the launches safer.
Okay.
It has helped because it was all done for example, getting people into space. I'm going to use Mercury, the Redstone Mercury. It was 2 people in a small capsule doing it all by hand, looking at instruments and praying to God that they're going to the right location. Like, it wasn't for the faint of heart. It wasn't.
And some would say they stayed in Houston.
Yep.
Some would think that they stayed in Houston in a.
No, they took off. They went around the earth.
Yeah, just didn't-
They just never made it all the way.
yeah. So, how
And-
has technology changed that? Then?
Well, technology has actually allowed us to launch actually internet satellites. You know, if you think about it, most of the infrastructure in space is powering our 4G, our internet,
Our communication.
our GPS.
Our
Yes,
phones.
those would not work if somebody EMP'd all of our satellites.
Our night skies are changing.
That's right.
Yes, and Dieter is upset
hold on.
about how
Hold on.
Elon Musk keeps.
Where we used to just see stars, now we're seeing satellite movement, and Elon's going to put so many satellites in view that we're going to continue. If you look up at night, you're going to see
Yeah, you were.
squadron of lights moving all.
You were saying, you were saying one time they're gonna quit changing time back and forth.
What?
That's daylight savings.
Daylight savings time?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe. That'd be great.
Another thing is like technology has allowed us to build a outpost orbiting Earth, the International Space Station.
Okay.
You know, that's a heck of.
I'm waiting for a space elevator.
Okay,
So you can get on it and just get up to those places?
and space tourism is a thing.
I think so.
It's
It's a little expensive right now.
right now.
7 people have been so far.
Is that right?
So,
7?
Yeah. it'll be 8 by the end of this year. I
Wow.
believe they have another person scheduled.
Well, it's gonna. I just imagine it. 50 years.
Sounds like a field trip.
And 50 years from now, it's gonna be like the cost of an airline ticket. Maybe. I don't know, but it's gonna get there. That's what they're trying to aim for.
But that's more, is that disruptive or is that just new technology?
I'd say it's going to be more like the price of a cruise line to
Yeah.
go to space.
David, I'm going to ask you.
Would you go to space if you could, Tom?
Would I go to space if I could? Let me see. I'll ask you in a second. Sure. Yeah, I'm an adventure guy. I'd go to space.
So you would be willing to be strapped on, let's say a liquid rocket.
Maybe. I'll say this. I went on the Great American Rock and Roller Coaster at Disney World, and I almost had a heart attack. So maybe I shouldn't go into space. So we'll go into that.
Too many G's.
Too many G's. There were. Steven Tyler in my head, and too many G's, and it was a little weird.
It's actually pretty safe. 99.9% of all deaths occur on Earth.
Very nice.
There you
I like my
go.
David, technology. Give us something that you believe technology and how it's changed in your life and what's caused it for the better or the worse.
Well, for me, it kind of changed for the worse because I've been working for a newspaper community publisher for the last 23 years. And I started back in '96, and we did everything by hand, laying out the sheets of newsprint. And then eventually we got to saving everything on a CD and emailing PDFs. But now that the newspaper industry is changing, now we've got the Kindles and now we've got our smartphones. That's been putting a real impact on the newspaper industry. Not just ours, but the Tennessean, maybe the New York Times, Los Angeles Times, Chicago Tribune, So I actually miss those days that I've been working for the Pride. Technology can change for the better or for the worse.
So technology, by changing and going from printed paper and us reading a newspaper in the morning over our coffee to reading our pads, got you out of a job.
Pretty much.
Didn't it?
Yeah.
And so it did change. Technology changed to maybe, and some would say in a better way, and some would say worse. I love something. There's something tactile about a book or a paper that I love to read. I enjoy holding it. It hurts my head to read. My wife's starting to read on her iPad, and it just drives me nuts. I have to read a book and hold it.
They hardly make newspapers anymore.
They hardly do, don't they?
No.
That's exactly right. Although I read today, Demetria Kalodimos, everybody know who Demetria was? On Channel 4.
Yeah.
She was our local
Yeah.
news person.
Yeah.
She and a partner are bringing the Nashville Banner back, the old afternoon paper from here, and they're bringing it back in a digital form, though. It's not coming back in a paper form. It's coming back in a, yes.
That's hanging on the wall there.
That's the old Nashville Banner. That's so old, I'm in it. So the banner is coming back in a digital form. So you're exactly right. Technology.
I was
is
also
changing
going to
everything.
say technology in warfare is changing as well. They are actually, the U.S. Navy is developing electromagnetic railguns that can launch projectiles over the speed of sound, like literally break down mini concrete walls. The thought terrifies me because if we can figure out how to miniaturize how much death we can make in our,
Sure.
like they're also like another term with technology. I think it's not going to happen in this decade, but it's going to take 100 years possibly, is space warfare.
Could be. Think about food and ordering of food and technology of just, one of the things you wanted to learn how to do here was to order Uber Eats, right?
Yeah.
And order some food and bring it home. That's amazing to me. You used to have to, it just blows me away. You can get on your phone and 20 minutes later food shows up at your door. It's kind of crazy.
Shane wants a replicator.
Back to Matt's thing about space warfare. I was watching that thing, where if anything breaks in space, it makes X amount of debris, and that debris becomes infinitesimal problematic for other spacecraft.
Interesting.
And
Yep.
right now we have enough junk up there that it is problematic for our satellites, for everything. But they were speculating that if we just had one minor attack on 2 or 3 satellites, there'd be enough debris that would end up destroying all our other satellites for the whole planet.
And we just don't know.
So all of a
The
sudden,
answer-
instantly we would have no GPS, instantly we would have no communication. So
Really
You go to the
interesting.
Stone Age overnight.
Agreed. Really, really,
Yes.
really interesting point.
But there is a way to survive the
The
Stone Age.
reliance on new technology has caused the human being to become almost a non-survivor in a weird way. Imagine the lights go out in your neighborhood for a couple of 3 hours and think, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Well, first
Because you have no electricity.
Yeah.
What would you do if the
You rush to the
electricity
store
went
before the
out?
milk goes bad.
Well, you do, but then go a week with no electricity in your neighborhood. Your fridge stuff goes bad. All of a sudden, there's nobody
start
that's
killing
able to get
squirrels.
in there and bring your food to your grocery store. Everything we've become reliant on, not walking out in the backyard and shooting a squirrel and eating it, is everything that we've gotten used to in the world of technology has created, I think, a soft human being.
Yes.
And has created people that are way too comfortable and way.
I have a backup plan if it goes out.
Well, I think there are a lot of people doing. We call them preppers, and everybody laughs at them and da da da. And I think those might be the guys and whatever that are here for an extra whatever. And then my faith goes. I don't know if it all comes to that. I'm not sure I want to be here anyway. But that's a whole nother day for another subject for another
Yeah.
day. But
I was about to say.
let's stay on technology. I'm sorry, guys. I took us off here a little bit.
And it's 3:06.
There you go. As your technology fund
Yeah.
says.
I was real quickly. I'm sure we all know preppers. My grandmother was one of them. She literally had food for days.
But it's smart. I mean, one of the things that I think is important. I've got a friend who's a big hunter, and he laughs at everybody that gets mad at him hunting. He goes, "Y'all are all going to starve, and I'm going to be okay." Like I couldn't go shoot a deer and skin it and eat it. I couldn't do that unless I was incredibly hungry, and then I could do it. And so I think it has made us softer. It's more convenient, more comfortable, more all these things, and I'm not sure that's what we're supposed to be.
Yeah, because I mean, you think about it, like Alexander the Great's army, he marched, I don't know, 20, 30 miles a day, and they were basically wearing sandals, and
Yep.
the Romans conquered Germany in sandals.
Yep.
I mean,
It's amazing.
it
And they
was
also
cold.
lost feet though, and they also, died of hypothermia and different things. And
Sandals
had-
are superior. I can
Sandals
say.
are superior. Alex
That's
still
not a
wears them,
sandal. That's a flip flop.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's true. That's a slider.
It is
Actually,
a
it's a
slider.
slider.
It's an
So-
abomination.
It's not technology.
Oh,
That's very low tech.
it is.
Dustin, what one technology has changed your life more than anything?
Oh, that's a tough one. I can't think of anything.
Okay. Well, guys, this is great. Yeah, Alex.
Just in the audio world, like
We didn't even go there.
20,
did
20,
Yeah.
20 years ago, you had to have racks and racks next to your huge board that might only have 30 channels on it, and, a reverb rack and a delay rack and all of these things. And now I can sit down with a little M32 this big by Midas. I have 64 channels and all of that gear packed into this one little board.
Great. Production is the biggest one I can think of, man. When I started in the game, we had to blade edit tape that we then put in a box and we mailed it to somebody to play on a radio station. Now you create an MP3, you put it on your hard drive, and you just hit one button and it goes to every radio station in the world. It's unbelievable how production has changed.
Also,
The quality of production of things you can record and the video that you have in this little phone outweighs what film and video cameras were doing.
The new Lady Gaga video just got released. It was all shot on 11.
It's really unbelievable what's happened. Anybody want to close out with any other
one
comments?
more thing. I
more
was
thoughts?
going to say that. What was I gonna? I had it.
I'm sorry.
I know I had. Fudgesicle.
Well, what we're doing here, think about it. We're podcasting. We are recording and creating a.
God, it
some
was so
content.
good. I was gonna
Well,
tell
we'll come
you.
back to you. We're creating content, and then we're going to share that by streaming.
Hate it when I lose
Imagine
great
that.
thoughts.
I've got old 78 records of my dad's around here. You don't need that. The fact that you can literally say play, brr, and it's any song in the planet. that's
Oh,
ever
I
been
know what I
recorded.
was going to say. I was
Come
going to
back to
say.
you. Go, Matt.
I was going to say that Apple is now coming out with an all-glass iPhone, or is trying to.
Oh wow, that's kind of cool.
Oh, so it'll be clear?
All clear. You can see all the.
They're trying to. There's a patent that was leaked
Uh-oh.
that's talking about like an all-glass, no home button.
There's the most disruptive technology that's really been created in my lifetime, and that's that. Right? There's no question about it.
The bane of my existence.
Yeah. I want a flip phone.
Hey,
I was gonna
They
say.
actually have smartphones that can flip.
I don't want a smart flip phone. I just want an old flip phone. We got to roll.
Give me my
Riley,
blackberry.
got one thing you want to add?
No, other than
What?
big ass taco.
Yes. I like tacos better. More subscribes, big ass tacos.